Crack open that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass. Pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick. Light it. And blow. It's time to hang. With Steel Sharpened Steel. After dark.
Hey, everybody, it's time to hang. Steel Sharpened Steel. After dark.
Good evening, Sharpies.
Good
Welcome
evening,
to
Sharp.
another episode of Steel Sharp Steel. I am Joy Stevens.
And I'm Tom Cunningham. We are here in our brand new state-of-the-art new studio. So as you can see, we got matching backgrounds and the red motif popping off and all of that. What's up, Mark Stephanie? So yes, we're gonna do. This is an after dark week, so we have an after dark show. There's, as always, a lot happening, and that's why we come weekly to deliver the goods on everything.
Yes,
that
you,
is.
Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony. But you know what? You Sharpies are the bestesses. You the bestest of the bestesses, for real. So as always, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Today was a big day in news for a variety of reasons. Not too surprising that it comes at the end of the week, as things often do when issues of import get thrown into the end of the news cycle to hopefully kind of ride it out at the end. So, but a lot of crucial things happened with the erstwhile Orange Folius and some other GOP chicanery, the continued self-immolation of the Biden impeachment inquiry, as well as a bunch of other stuff that's happening. And it's the last day of Black History Month, so we have some Black History Month celebratory moments. We're probably going to replay some of our favorite little things that we had from the year or from the month. And if you're not following Booker Squared, she actually dropped some thirst trap photos this week, which stunned me because I've always seen her in her glasses, but she had some boudoir pics that I guess her white husband, I saw a comedy clip of hers and she said her husband is white.
Mm-hmm.
So hubby was thirst trapping.
Nice.
She looks great.
Let you know what I look like with these glasses off.
Glasses off. And my
Mhm.
hair did and all of that. Fresh press. So at any rate, we do have a bunch of things to talk about, but the story that absolutely dominated my news cycle this week was the continuing troubles in Trump world with money. And so today's show is Trump puts his fines on the layaway. He actually needs to see if he can trade some food coupons, some food stamps for this $500+ million, plus the E. Jean Carroll money, which is another $83 million. We told you last week that it was about $87,000 a day, which is about $1 a second. But because there's compounding interest, now it's like $100,000 a day. So it's like almost $1.20 a second. But at any rate, in the week since we last discussed it, his bill has risen by $604,000.
Do y'all remember when we used to watch things like the Jerry Lewis telethon or
That's
some
right.
other like live televised fundraiser, and they would have that ticker going in the
Yeah.
bottom, like, going over and over again? That's what it looks like. The amount of money he owes, it just cha-ching, it rolls over like every day is another $1 million. If I had $1 for every time he owed $1, I'd have $500 million.
Yeah, it's a lot. $1 a second is a lot.
That would be 36. I mean, he's up to about $1,000 just from us talking.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, imagine that, a stack. Several stacks while you're watching Steel Sharpened Steel, another $6,000 while you're watching the show. Anyway, and the thing is that his lawyer, Alina Habba, about to lose her job, went on Newsmax and said, "Oh, well, I mean, he has the money. He's a billionaire. We know that, but we're appealing, da 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 da." And he's like, "Well, I mean, but you're going to have to put that money up, right?" And so, get this, dig if you will, this calculator. The amount that you owe was $450,000. So that has to be set aside. You have to collateralize that. Then there's the bond fee, which at these prices is 20%. So in addition to the $450 million, not including the E. Jean Carroll money, just the New York State money, because New York gonna get its money. So you got the 450, another 20% on top of that, right, is another $80 million. And the interest is still stacking. And if he does not get that full bond, because the judge today denied him a stay in the bond, he's got to come up with the bond by March 25th or it turns into a fire sale on his properties. He did cut back on his inability to head a company or to borrow money from New York banks. I don't know what New York bank could possibly lend him $600 million. I don't know any bank. Well, maybe Kremlin Bank could do it.
We're gonna have to look at this. We're gonna have to start putting up like.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah, she's being extra petty. Letitia's being extra petty. She literally is updating the dollar amount every
she
day.
is the epitome. She's the embodiment of something I said to a couple friends of mine last week. You know, we were talking about slogans, and I was like, you know, when they go low, we go high. I said that's the only thing I ever disagreed with First Lady Obama about. I was like, when they go hello, I will dig a tunnel. And that's how I feel like Letitia James is being right now. Like she is digging a tunnel into the land of petty. Like I'm gonna show you every second, every minute, every hour. Sounded like an episode. Sounded like a off-Broadway run of Rent. You know,
exactly.
How much do you owe today? While I'm talking, it has been another $30, right?
I mean, it's literally it's one of those modern musicals where there's a guy on TikTok who he kind of lampoons the structure of the modern musical, and so it's like the opening song. This is the opening song where we tell everybody what we're gonna do. This is the opening song, and so go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, don't get caught in your rabbit hole, baby.
Exactly. So everybody is chasing him for money, and as Elaine just said, E. Jean, I mean, the 5 is already set aside, and $5 million is nothing to sneeze at. So, I mean, let's be clear. That's not a small amount of money, especially since it's already set to the side. You can get that money now. But the $83 million, and there is the potential of a contemplation of yet another lawsuit because he still keeps talking trash. Everybody is now chasing him. And Alina Habba said, of course, he has the money, but they went in today asking if, I mean, I'm going to have to start selling. I'm going to have to start selling. I'm going to have to sell some things, my very, very beautiful buildings, if you can't lower my bond. And they're like,
okay.
I mean, I guess you're going to sell.
Right.
The challenge is that a lot of his properties are very highly leveraged, right? It's not like all the equity that it's sold would be converted. I mean, he's got to pay the mortgage that is still owed,
right,
and everything else. Plus, if he's going to get any money quickly, it's going to be like a fire sale. And so it's not going to be full capacity. If it's a $500 million building, you might get $200 million. And then is that going to satisfy the blop blops and everything? So it's really an interesting set of circumstances. It's going to cripple him and destroy his liquidity and, you know, keep him in a state of confusion, which is perfectly fine.
Honestly, that might be the closest he's come to being an average American in his life.
Oh, yes.
It's having to fast sell your house in order to pay off some bills, you know, in the moment in a buyer's market. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and you're in New York. And so people are looking at you like, oh, so is your 33,000 square foot apartment while my rent is $5,000?
Exactly.
People paying $1,200 in Manhattan for a goddamn walk-in closet with no kitchen, no bathroom. It's just a silo. Like you couldn't even get a twin bed in that bitch.
The kitchen, the bathroom, and the shower is all the same sink.
And half your futon is rolled up on the side of the wall because you can't even get a full-size futon on the floor.
You got a hot plate on the floor because they can't get a stove through the door.
Right. An Instant Pot. That's all you got. You can
Right.
plug in your Instant Pot.
You have to leave sideways from the door.
You do not have a refrigerator. You could maybe get a mini fridge and put the Instant Pot on top of the mini fridge and put your plate underneath the Instant Pot, because that's all you got. It's nothing.
Oh.
This is what New York life is like.
James says she coming for that skyscraper.
She wants to, she's already name dropped the skyscraper. She's already name dropped. And she knows. I mean, there's a whole lot of issues to deal with when you're trying to sell Trump property, because again, the name is so damaged.
Right. You're basically selling stuff as is. There's no equity in the name. And now I gotta work to take the name off and help people forget that it used to be Trump, whatever.
So there's a lot going into his money issues.
Right.
But
and this is something he didn't think through, because his supporters, by and large, not completely, but by and large, a lot of his supporters are not in the upper echelon of the economic strata. So they can't help him keep this stuff away. Trump Tower in Vegas is empty because the people that would support him can't make it to Vegas.
Yeah, they gave him their vacation money to support.
It's a fixer-upper. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a fixer Upper West Side. See what I did there? Yeah, it is. It's about licensing. And look, he's not liquid, folks. And 100 million.
He's not liquid. He's 90% fat, but he's not liquid at all.
He's not liquid. No, it's oleaginous fat. So it's all clumpy and dripping all over the place.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Exactly. So that is a way to kick off the Trump legal woes as far as New York is concerned. Alvin Bragg is up next. That freight train is not stopping. There's nothing in the way anymore. March 25th is when it's going to start. It could be literally the only case that is tried before the election. And that is because SCOTUS also decided that they were going to grant what turned into a stay and a writ of certiorari. So they are going to review a single question, not the issue of presidential immunity in toto, because it is clear that that does not exist. But it's going to fall on the definition of an official act. Now, I find it very difficult to believe that 5 justices actually think that interfering with the counting of votes after you've lost 60 lawsuits would be considered an official act. You are campaigning. It is all you are supposed to do as president is to step down on the 21st. So I don't see how all the foolishness that you tried to pull on January 6th is an
even them
act.
offering up this delay is really just their feeble attempt to try to help him, because his goal is to try to get reelected so he can, in his mind, he thinks he can make all of this go away by, if I'm president, then I'm back to being immune. But that doesn't stop the fact that you did some nonsense when you weren't president. No, it's not how any of this works, and Chan, as always, all he has to do is sell 1 million pairs of shoes to make his money, the jumpers for Trumpers. And actually, it would probably be 2 million at this point, based on the average shoe price, right?
Well, it depends. Yeah, first of all, let's be clear. That was a low run. They talked about how it sold out. They had a limited run of those shoes. They didn't have 1 million pairs of shoes for sale.
We also have some information, let's take it to the street and see how this shoe is doing, with the people that might buy it. So check this out.
Now, what do you think of these sneakers?
It's very patriotic. I think that there's no rules in fashion. You can wear whatever you want, but me personally, I would not wear it.
Would you cop these?
No.
You wouldn't?
Nope. Hard pass.
It looks very 2009 dated.
They look like they don't bend.
What are your thoughts on this shoe?
Trying to be chic, but also very nationalistic.
Got you. Now, would you wear this shoe?
No.
Okay. So you think if you wore these to school, you might get roasted up?
Definitely.
Yeah. Because what grade are you in?
7th.
You're in 7th grade?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
6'1".
Do you think there's a sort of like Mike situation where as soon as you put them on, you get indicted?
Probably. If not indicted by the judicial system, it'd be indicted by society.
I'm wearing these, right?
Yeah.
I get robbed. They get taken off of me.
You're not gonna get robbed for those, brother.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. So this is really like robbery repellent right here.
Some people might try to give you tips on fashion, like, why are you wearing those?
Oh, okay.
Why was he in Hamburglar socks?
Because why not? And get this, they debuted at a sneaker con.
Sneaker con.
They up here with all the other like limited edition, high profile, you can't get these nowhere, $1,200 per foot type sneakers. And then the
Jan 6s.
The audacity of it all. They could have called them the Caucasus 45s or something like that.
Something like that. But it's not hot in these streets.
No.
It's giving Alibaba and Wish and
it's giving Temu would never.
But Wish would.
Wish would. Wish,
sure.
Yes, I wish they would. Yeah, they would.
Wish absolutely would.
But going back to Trump, though, again, he's trying to do whatever he can. He is literally grasping at straws at this point. And his legal team is they're throwing smoke and mirrors. They're doing straight up like Batman smoke bombs, like, poosh, oh, damn, we're still here. Think of something else. Look over there, like anything. My thumb hurts. Whatever they can say to try to get out of this.
And the light at the end of the tunnel for him, somewhat financially, is that his IPO for Truth Social is set to go. And because there was some insider trading kind of stuff, whatever, the initial stock share price was to be valued at 10, but the MAGA people have artificially inflated it to about 47 million. He owns 793 million shares. So he could very easily sell shares and get a quick infusion of cash, except he doesn't have the ability to sell for 6 months after the offering. And then if he does sell that much value, the stock price is going to tank.
So again, this is as close as he has come to being a regular American, because you got money that might be on the way, but your check ain't cleared yet, right? You started, you like when you start a job and they don't pay you until the next month. He's just sitting here waiting, hoping on hope. Go ahead and break out that wick, son.
That's what I'm saying. Get them stamps, all them stamps with your picture on it, looking angry.
Yeah, and I don't think the American people are going to bail him out of these criminal cases that's not how it's going to work. Even if he does get supporters, I don't think he has enough to win. And that actually takes us into our next segment, which is, I call it Haley Mary, because Nikki Haley out here acting up, right? According to, so she's out here, she's giving him a run for his money. Now, this is with some qualifiers. She is not pulling in the numbers out of the Republican Party that she would need to be a real contender for the nomination. Howsoever, she is also highlighting for everyone that if given any other option, a lot of Republicans, independents, people who are still Republican in name only, whatever, are jumping ship. And even though he won her state in the primary, it wasn't by a lot. Well, it was by a lot, but the people that voted for him were more about being against her than actually liking him. When it comes back down to that Biden versus Trump thing, they're still like, no comment. And so there's a lot of holes, and there's a lot of gaps and a lot of holes in his foundation. It's not going to hold up. He's lost about 20% of the Republican Party. He can't afford to lose that.
In South Carolina, 40% didn't vote for him.
Right.
And that's the first state that is both not a caucus and also not New Hampshire. New Hampshire was an outlier. A lot of independents voted and all that other sort of stuff. So
if you think about it, if the Republicans make up half of the state, and we let that be exemplary of the rest of the country, he didn't get half of half.
Right.
Right.
And so
He can't
well,
win.
he got a bit more than half, but still he cannot lose those people. He gained people in 2020 and still lost by 7 million votes. He can't lose 40% or 30% or 20%. He can't lose 10%. He
He
can't lose.
needed to gain another 7 million votes.
And here's the thing that people are not taking into account. Biden participated in the South Carolina primary and got more than 90% of the vote. And there were two other Democrats on the ballot. Now, one of them has stepped aside. Marianne Williamson is not going to continue right now because of the showing. And then Dean Phillips is, grasping at straws. But the point is that he had competition. It's not like one of those things where there's only one person on the ballot. Even in Michigan, where he suffered some really tough votes because of his position on Gaza and the Palestinian conflict. There's a huge
There was a
Muslim
huge protest. Yeah.
in Michigan, especially in Dearborn.
Mhm.
And so there were a lot of uncommitted votes. Those uncommitted votes were protest votes, putatively from Democratic voters who were letting him know, because it was a primary and there was no risk in the general election, they were letting him know how pissed they were.
Right.
So with the uncommitted plus the standard, just regular old Democratic votes in Michigan, he won 90+% again. And there were uncommitted votes on the Trump side as well. And with Nikki's 20%, the uncommitted on the Trump side, he lost out on 30% of the primary electorate. Now, primaries are a much smaller slice. There's still time for some people to come home just for the Republican team if they really aren't feeling Biden like that. But Biden benefited the first time from not being Trump. So people said, at least this guy is not Trump. Oh, did she?
Wow.
Oh, girl. Marianne needs to leave it alone.
Let's talk more asset season.
Right, more asset seizing. Well, I mean, it's certainly something that's going to happen. He has until the 25th to kind of pull it together. That's basically where we are.
We hadn't planned to talk about this. But speaking of grasping at straws, what is Cornel West up to these days?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Is he still out here making an impact?
I hope he's making an impact on those raggedy teeth. He could use
we don't talk about his teeth like that.
Okay.
It's not nice. We got so many other ways to criticize him. We don't have to criticize his looks.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're kind of out there and obvious, but okay. Next up is a story that I have been looking forward to because I intensely dislike this woman, and it's Lauren Boebert. This segment's called Lauren, You in Danger.
Oh, Lord.
So Lauren started her flirtation with Satanism in a much heralded production of Beetlejuice in a Denver theater, where she was not only vaping inside the theater with a vape pen, she was also manipulating her date's undercarriage.
That is probably the best way I've heard that explained. Manipulating her date's undercarriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's like the most politically correct way to say juggling balls that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I just ruined that, didn't I?
So basically, she tried to say, no, that wasn't me, that I wasn't vaping, and then they brought in the footage, the infrared footage, where it was like, yeah, literally, you have LB tattooed onto your damn sweater, like Laverne and Shirley and some shit. So then she had to cop to that. This week, her son, Taylor, the wrong Taylor. It was a big week for Taylor a couple of weeks ago. He got the wrong Taylor. And this dude is up for 22 indictments, and 5 of them are felonies. And he's a young father. I don't know if he's because he was the father that got his girl pregnant when he was 15 or 16, just like Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
She's the 40-year-old grandma or whatever, 35-year-old grandma.
Isn't that what happened to Palin?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bristol.
The teenage pregnancy is rampant on the
Yeah.
Republican side. But also all of the 22 counts, like you said, 5 of them are felonies, but they're all and they're all for like criminal trespassing, fake IDs,
Identity theft.
all kind of shisty scam artist type of stuff that he's been up to. And to her credit, and I hate to give her credit for anything, but she did say, he needs to pay for his actions. He needs to face the consequences. So it sounds like she's trying to not distance herself, because she's very much saying, I love my son and he's been given chances, and this is kind of it. But I've heard this from mothers before, like, this time, Bryce, you're going to bed. And then 2 hours later, he's still up. So now that it is out of her hands, she had, all the years of him being in her house and raising him to get him to not be this way. And here he is. And so it'll be interesting to see what the judicial system does in the way of parenting that she was unfortunately unable to do.
But also, ma'am, you're not going to win in this district. Can maybe you like take a step back and focus on your family?
Right.
Like,
because that district didn't like you when you were in the other district.
Correct.
What makes you think they want to like you now?
They don't.
You don't even live there.
And you look scandalous as hell. That was one of the quietly, unlike Trump, who basically has impenetrable plot armor. He's basically the Batman of the GOP right now. He can do anything that is required for him to do with enough prep time. The thing that really took Sarah Palin down was when the facade of that perfect American Christian values family started falling to pieces. So Bristol gets pregnant. The older son is an abuser. She gets a divorce from Todd. Nobody wants to hear from you, perfect librarian, anymore. Nobody wants to. So, I know and she used to run that restaurant. The restaurant's closed now, but you should figure out a graceful way. You would be a great Newsmax commentator because you're shrill and you're ignorant and you'll say whatever.
You're a white woman.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be better if you were blonde, honestly, but
that can happen. All you need is a box of L'Oreal or whatever.
Right. Well, a box of L'Oreal. I'm not going to talk about appearance. So Boebert is the quintessential GOP, families first, super conservative, ultra MAGA, as she insisted that she be called. We prefer ultra MAGA. Girl, you prefer unemployment. How about that?
Right.
Because that's where you're headed. And there's not going to be enough to save you because you barely won last time. And with this family drama that you have going on, you're not. There's too
nobody likes you.
Nobody likes you. So you in danger, girl. Your campaign's in danger. Your family's in danger. You need. And
let's not forget the assaults on her ex-husband, right? So there's danger coming from a lot of places. I'm not saying that there was ever the case. I'm making a very crude joke, but yeah, she needs to take, as the little baby said on Instagram, worry about yourself. That's what
your own self. Worry about your own self. So
I don't think so.
No, you have to serve. I think you have to serve 4 terms before you get a
pension.
I think it's 4 terms before you get a pension. George Santos thought, because he didn't know the Constitution either. George Santos thought that he could get elected just this one time and then get a guaranteed pension forever.
Nah, bro.
So he knew that he was going to get cut. He knew that he was going to be found out, but he thought, let me just get elected. I'll get this pension. And I'll just skate on it. No, sir. Doesn't work that way, Georgie. Sorry. So
I don't think she gets unemployment benefits either.
I know, because her job was federal. I mean, I guess if whatever job she had before, if she had paid into state unemployment, maybe
The short answer, no. Yeah,
I don't think so, because she was a sole proprietorship or something, maybe an LLC. I don't know if she's going to get unemployment benefits. She's going to have to go to media. She's going to have to go to conservative media. She doesn't have a choice.
Or I was about to say something really terrible. There are other forms of media that are rampant on the internet as well.
I did say only choice because she does have some fans.
There you have it.
And maybe she could produce some programming just for those fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's more than one way to skin that cat, a cat. So we heard some very disquieting things from the world's most vocal and Caucasoid dictator.
Yeah. And she may regret, but yes, she may regret voting against. Yeah, exactly. She may regret voting against the subsidies for poor families. Because guess what you are? Poor family.
Family.
Mhm.
Vladimir Putin is doing the most. I'm sorry,
Putin is,
Anthony.
Putin is out here acting a whole ass up in these streets.
Why
Y'all
you
don't
got him
understand.
with his hand? But wait, he looks like one of those Renaissance posters of Jesus. He got a
Right.
halo heart. He's holding
Oh
up
my
both fingers.
God. I didn't notice that until just now. Let's take this picture down post haste.
Take it down. Take it
Oh
down.
my God.
He was like,
You're right. It was right there. But I mean, we all know that Jesus is not white. So clearly he is not all white, old, and bald. But
yeah,
Putin is out here threatening nuclear war.
nuclear war.
And he's trying to make it sound like, and because of the previous president, and because of the situation that the current president finds himself in, the trust that people have in the United States around the world is at an all-time low. So people believe him when he says America is lying. They believe him when he says they're making all of this up. They're trying to start some nonsense over here. And also, and they probably should believe him when he says, "Oh, I got weapons.
Right.
I got weapons that will make it to America." And so he's threatening, if the West continues to do what they're doing, he's threatening to start a third nuclear war. Or he's a third world war.
And I want people to think about something really quickly, because there was an Amazon series that I really enjoyed, The Man in the High Tower,
Yeah.
which imagined an alternate universe in which a large segment of the American population actually embraced Nazism. And if you haven't seen Origin, you should, because Anjanou Ellis, in her portrayal of the author of Caste, uncovered the connection between the Jim Crow laws in the United States and what Nazi Germany used to transform those laws into ways to discriminate against Jews. So it's not that there wasn't that undercurrent of naked racism in the United States. There were plenty of Nazi sympathizers in the United
They
States.
they held a Nazi rally in New York.
Right. So
Yeah.
let's be clear, and it's touched upon in the last Indiana Jones movie. But the point is that it's not so hard to believe that a large enough population of the United States would have chosen the German side, over the people who were eventually the Allies. And so the same trend you're seeing now. Putin is the most powerful dictator in the world who is white.
Yeah.
He's got a mostly white, racially homogenized country in Russia. It's the single largest contiguous landmass of a country on the planet. And they see in him the sort of, and Tucker Carlson really laid this bare when he went over there, acting like it was some sort of utopia, when clearly he's never been shopping in the United States ever in his entire life. But Tucker Carlson said it. They're racially homogenous and he's in control. And they love that. They love the idea of a Putin-style oligarchy over here, where all of the undesirables can be driven out, the border can be completely locked, and it can just be happy, happy white town USA. And that's what they are projecting. They're imagining that Putin never, all he cares about is nationalism. All he cares about is his people. He would never do anything. Exactly, China. He would never do anything against us. I mean, us people, not realizing that the Russian mafia exists with the tacit complicity of Vladimir Putin, because he's got his finger in those pies.
And here's another thing that they forget. Every empire in order to thrive, especially a capitalist empire, needs a form of low or no cost labor.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the whole system falls apart. Right now, I got a sticker on my computer that says America runs on slave wages. You got to have some people willing to work for next to nothing. If they tried that in the United States, first of all, let's not forget there was a time where Black folks were segregated, moved into these smaller areas, had to make do with what they had, and Black white people, and I'm making sweeping generalizations, but white people got upset because we managed to have our own, and they're still poor. Why are they still poor? You know what? Let's burn down their stuff. And they burned down Rosewood. They burned down Tulsa. They flooded so many. They flooded Lake Lanier. They flooded so many Black neighborhoods. You're still poor.
Drove Black enclaves out of Central Park.
You're still poor. And so if they got rid of all of the quote unquote undesirables in the United States, and if they did that, it would have some backlash across the world of like affecting trade, affecting commerce, affecting the globalization of American-based companies. But you're still gonna be poor. That's not gonna change for you.
And you're not going to pick your own oranges, lettuce, grapes, or apples.
So you're gonna be poor and hungry.
And the fruit that you used to be able to get at grocery outlet is now going to be sky high.
Right. Do you know how high apples would be if you had to pay minimum wage and health benefits to the people that picked apples? They'd be $1 a slice.
Yeah, McDonald's apple slices certainly wouldn't be on the menu. That'd be a premium choice. That'd be a $5 upgrade to your little Happy Meal.
Mm-hmm.
Fries is easy, but them apple slices, listen.
Right. Poor, ignorant, and impotent in every way. Absolutely. So this is what I want people to come to understand about the way things are set up. You know, you can hate us all you want, and like Anthony said, you can hating on us, flooding, burning, everything else to us. But at the end of the day, your life isn't going to change because you killed us. If anything, you will now be that low cost labor.
You will be at the bottom of the caste ladder.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Good luck.
And y'all don't want that. That entitlement only works when you have somebody to stand on top of.
Right.
If your feet are on the ground, then somebody's standing on you.
Exactly that.
And that's what you aren't ready to reckon with.
Right.
So, you kind of need to figure that out. Who you think
we are not your problem.
We sure aren't.
Mm-mm.
Not in the least. Not in the most leastestness.
Exactly.
Not at all. So Vladimir Putin is actually one of the things that is astounding to me. We kind of touched on it last week, but there's a clip now where Trump is standing on stage with Putin. Putin is being asked questions via a translator, and he says, Trump has asked for your assistance in helping to make him president of the United States. Is that something that you're interested in or would be willing to do? The first syllable out of his mouth is da. Now, if you don't know Russian, you might just think he's calling for his daddy. Da means yes. Mm-hmm. And he says yes, because of course he wants to normalize relations between the United States and Russia. So we would be happy to help. We would be interested in helping him to become president.
You know that's illegal, right, Trump? No, actually, you don't know that's illegal, do you? Because you went on TV and asked for that last time.
You asked for the emails, 30,000 emails. If you could give me the emails, Vladimir Putin, I hope you're listening. Not that you should be listening to our elections, but I know that you are, so there. Get the emails, get the servers. The emails and the servers. Bruh. Every day that he has to be on Crazy Train, every day that he cannot look presidential despite himself, and Nikki is going to stay in through Super Tuesday. If she can demonstrate 20 or 30% who still refuse to vote for him after he is the presumptive candidate, there is no choice for anybody else. If he's still hemorrhaging 30% support across Super Tuesday, that's a bigger problem than he's willing to admit right now. And he's fighting a 6-front war from his finances, from Georgia, from Mar-a-Lago and Jack Smith. Even though those trials are kind of in stasis right now, he still has to devote attention to it. Because he certainly can't have Alina Habba trying to run around and represent.
God, no.
She has failed every step of the way. So you've got Bragg, Carroll, Engeron, and James. Those are all current problems or about to be problems. Then you've got Jan 6 and Mar-a-Lago, which are really horrible. If January 6th actually gets into play by, call it late summer, and you still got 3 months to litigate it, you've got all those headlines and all that stuff going on in the closing days of the election, that's not going to be great.
Even if it doesn't get litigated by then, it becomes a key point in all the debates.
Yep.
And if you think Biden won't act a whole fool about it and keep bringing it up, because even though he got under Biden's skin during the last round of debates 4 years ago, Biden has nothing to lose at this point, right? And it's all on the line. And he also has the status. He has the status to go for the jugular, to be dirty. Right. Things that Hillary tried when she went up against him, and she was labeled a nasty woman. Misogyny is still very real in these streets. Joe Biden is his counterpoint. Old white man Republican versus old white man Democrat. It normalizes a lot of stuff. Now it's a boxing match, and Joe can take him in a fight. Because Joe has regular size hands.
I think the other thing that is important for people to realize is that in addition to all of these things going poorly for Trump and with some things breaking for Trump, impeachment is basically done. Jim Jordan can try to pretend, Comer can try to pretend. They don't have anything. Hunter went for some more testimony. Now that he knows that their quote unquote big witness with the $5 million bribe accusation, now that has no legs, that's a major sticking point. It was Biden broke the law and Trump broke the law. So they're equal.
Right now Biden didn't break the law.
And then Johnson is trying to say, Biden broke the law by holding those documents. And people immediately are jumping out and saying, no, that's not what the report says. The report says that there is no way to prove the intent necessary to convict.
Meanwhile, we got pictures of Trump's documents in the toilet.
Sitting in the bathroom, spilled on the floor. Video footage of him moving things after he's been subpoenaed.
Can you just imagine what the blue light in that bathroom would look like? They should burn those documents. I'm just saying.
I mean, you talk about 6 pairs of latex gloves,
right?
And be blowing.
I need a body bag, right?
To turn the pages with your breath, so that you ain't got to touch it.
Exactly.
Take the gloves back somewhere and pull off the gloves and throw them into an incinerator. One of the things that people. Oh, missiles. Oh
no!
missiles.
Stop! You stop right now. Somebody mute him. Is anybody else in the studio to mute him?
The Eagles are flying. So somebody was saying that he's going to walk into court on the 25th, and it was Michael Popak on the Midas Touch Network. He was saying that, he has seen people in these kind of disgorgement situations. He saw a guy walk into the defendant walk into court trying to deal with an asset disbursement issue wearing a Rolex, and they took the Rolex off his hand.
That's what's up. Let me get that. Run me my money. That sounds like a Dave Chappelle skit. Yeah. Get naked. Run me my money.
Listen, Melania's like, I'm not giving up my first.
Melania's not even in the country, bruh.
Oh, she back in Slovenia with Daddy's ashes?
I don't know. I'm just saying, she ain't here.
She ain't stunting him. I know she ain't stunting.
The shades are drawn. Nobody's answering the door. The phone is disconnected. She is, even if she here, she ain't here.
But she was staying in Trump Tower, right? Because she's not in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's definitely not in Mar-a-Lago. But I mean, remember at one point she was staying at Trump Tower because she had a little something at the Tiffany's down on the first floor. They are gone. I'm just saying. I am just saying. When's the last time you saw her in real life?
Oh, I know that she's trying to. She is not being. She's not playing the role of a wife who wants her husband to be president. You have not seen her at a single campaign event in this suite. She hasn't been in any of the primaries. She's
Mhm.
not by his side, and Barron's grown. She ain't got to be with Barron the whole time, and she certainly don't want Barron on the trail.
Not the Canadian milk bag.
Bag. He went to bag though.
That's bags, but that's
Yeah.
hilarious. Chan,
When I
your attention to detail is much appreciated.
because when I was in school in Detroit, you'd get your dairy in a bag. You'd have a pitcher to kind of help it stand up in the refrigerator, but you'd get your milk in a bag and you'd snip off the top and then tuck the top into the little slit of the pitcher so that it would keep fresh. That was how you did milk.
Right.
And that's how they do milk in Kenya. And I won't pretend. I do not love you. So we've got a situation where things are coming to a head on a number of fronts. That's right.
This is true. Just forget about it. Just give my money and leave me alone.
I mean, it sounds like she'd be willing to testify in the Stormy Daniels trial just for the sake of getting him away.
It's very possible. Because, I mean, if he goes down, if he goes to jail and all his stuff is liquidated, she comes out on top because now he's out of her hair, out of her face.
She gets some settlement.
She don't have to smell that smell no more.
Barron's like 15, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
They've been married a while.
Yeah.
So
Because he was like 10 or 11 during the first election of 2016. So
was he really?
I want to the Googles. Hang on. I'll tell you for sure.
How old is Barron Trump?
16.
Okay. So she's been with him 16 years and she bore him a male child. Tiffany didn't have a male child, right?
No.
I mean, Marla had Tiffany, and there are no. I guess Eric probably has kids, right?
I don't know. It depends on what the chemicals have done to his body. I don't know. Doesn't it make you sterile?
Not Don Jr.
Oh, Eric. Yeah. I forget about.
Yeah, I think Eric and Laura have a couple of rugrats. But Melania bore him.
Does that matter? None of that matters.
Well, because Melania gave him a male child, so her divorce or whatever is probably a better deal than Marla got.
Yeah.
Because he kicked Marla to the curb.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. As Vera said, she's utterly done. Utterly and complete.
Done.
Over it. And Elaine, I want you on the show. We need you on the show as our resident politician / fact checker / here's what's happening right now in the streets. Yeah, we're actually going to start that. If we hadn't said it before, I want to repeat it now. We really would love to have you all start sending in, word on the street, Sharpie's on point. Whatever. We had a cute name for it once before, but if you have a video of something you want mentioned, or you want to just say like a quick 30, 60-second segment, just record yourself on your phone and send it to us, and we'll add you into the show like we do all the other video clips. And exactly. We'll be Sharpies on the street. Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, Sharpies, do you know about this? Because Elaine sends us little clips and stuff. Mm-hmm. Anybody, Chan, Anthony, Mark, all of y'all. I know she renegotiated that prenup. Right. She got that better deal. I mean, there's not going to be much. If everything goes the way that it actually should, this New York case is going to rip his empire to shreds.
It's going to tear him a new one.
He's going to have these golf courses. He's going to try to get rid of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say he's probably it's going to shrink from everything's going to he's got to have his New York. His New Yorker is his monopoly pieces. He can't just get out of business in New York. That would be shameful. If he loses Trump Tower, that would be a disaster. But if he starts to lose any of these marquee properties, I think he can probably sell golf courses relatively easily if anybody's interested in buying them. That's, that except for Mar-a-Lago, which is his crown jewel right now, and Trump Tower. If he had to sell Trump Tower, that might end him.
Yeah, my understanding is that he suffers from shrinkage.
Yeah, well, clearly, especially according to Stormy Daniels. That was
Mhm.
another thing he tried to do this week, which was funny. He tried to basically say that all of the witnesses in the Stormy Daniels trial should not be allowed to testify. So no Michael Cohen, no Stormy Daniels, not the guy from National Enquirer who buried the
Right.
story. None of the people who could actually offer testimony germane to the fraud that he
Right, right. You know, I can
campaign.
win this case if y'all just don't let anybody who knows anything testify.
Yeah, so it's just going to be Elmo
She sure
and
did get her parents over here.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, she might barely have lips and barely be able to speak English, but she's not completely dumb.
Right. She might have been here on that genius visa for a reason. You don't know.
I mean,
No, but maybe not. But
I'd say probably more like a Niñez visa. Think about it.
I don't want to.
Hands on your knees. Hands
Why
on
you
your
keep trying to make these things be in my mind, Tom? I knew immediately what you meant. That's why I made that face, and I'm like, please don't. Please don't.
Oh Lordy. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the show. We've got 8 minutes left, and what we have left on the show is Black Excellence. So we do have some things that we want to talk about in celebration of Black History Month to shine the spotlight on the wonderful things that are being done in the universe in the space of Black excellence. So I'm going to let Joy kind of curate this thing because she has a very special message that she wants to present, and I don't want to be in the way. So Joy.
Thank you. So I would like to first, I want to start off with a still shot. Now, what you're about to see, this is a picture taken in 1993 of a group of young Black of highly educated, highly intelligent children. Now, I want you to pay specific attention to my young sister with the glasses on and the ponytail with the little red t-shirt and the overalls. It lets you know the time period because that is so like, you know,
Classic
TLC ain't too
1993.
proud to beg, right? But that is Dara Green. Dara Green is a friend of mine. And this segment aired, they were talking about the educational system, and it was it was under that umbrella of separate but not equal that was going on around the late 90s. And that is a picture of her in college at Duke, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
She sent me that the other day just as a kind of wow, this popped up again. And she said she had never seen the recording that she knew she was in, but she found it somewhere. Unfortunately, she found it it was an episode of 60 Minutes. And she found it, of course, it was behind a firewall. So all I could do was get that picture of it. But I also want to say, when we talk about like glow ups and stuff like that, this is Dr. Dara Green.
Woo, woo.
Right, hanging out with me, my soror, Dr. Dara Green, pediatric anesthesiologist,
Come on.
Dr. Dara Green. And she told me every Black woman you see in this picture is a doctor right now. So when we
Come
talk
on,
about Black excellence, don't forget Black excellence is around you all the time. I got fly ass friends. Matter of fact, my best friend, where's she at? Dr. Erica Goodwin is in here hanging out with us right now. Double board certified, Harvard trained doctor, psychiatrist, double. She does it all. If you got problems, she can help you for some money. But she does children, she does
Not for
adults, she
free.
does it. Look up Dr. Erica Goodwin. Better with Dr. Erica is the podcast on Spotify, right? And on
Okay.
Apple Music. I got
Well,
fancy friends.
we definitely need to get Erica on the show then, in a capacity
Absolutely.
other than a passive viewer. We promise we will not do anything that would jeopardize your board license.
We absolutely promise, and if we do, you can distance yourself from us all you want. But when we talk about Black excellence, I want y'all to remember, especially as we are all in that Generation X, you've done some things, some great things. We are responsible for more than just Freaknik videos, right? We are bomb ass
Coming to you
people.
soon.
We are doctors, we are lawyers, we are engineers, right? We are producers, we are screenwriters, we are singers, we are all of those things. We are Black excellence.
We sure
And
are.
one of the things I had a discussion with some friends once before, and the quote from the poem, I am, oh my Lord, small world. Look at this. Dr. Eric is my Neo. Love it. Shout out to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. But you know, the phrase that the quote from the poem, "I am the hope and the dream of the slave. I am also their revenge."
Boop.
Right? Because the best revenge is to live well, and we are out here balling. It's one of the things they hated so much about. Thank you, Black Gen Excellence. I love it. It's one of the things they hated about Obama was he was the smoothest, the smartest. You're not going to be better than him, which is one of the things they mad about that right now.
In
And
a tan suit.
In a tan suit, eating arugula, right?
And great
And being in shape, dropping two and 3 pointers, you know, on the backcourt of the White House. They still mad. And be
also,
mad, die mad. I don't care.
And smoking a pack of cools on the side when Secret Service was had their backs turned.
Right, when their backs are turned.
Yeah.
But you know, speaking of Gen X, there's one other thing I want to show. We're only going to show a piece of this, but I want to remind you, all of you out there, because we do have some viewers that fall into the millennial time frame, and we even have some Gen Z viewers. But I want y'all to remember this about Gen X.
Who let Gen X off the hook? Why are we talking shit about those guys?
Don't do that. Sir, I don't know what game you're playing, but we do not invoke Gen X for a reason. They are the lost generation because they want to be lost. We do not need to go find them. They're perfect where they are. You know how millennials, we've like seen some shit and then we talk a lot about it all the time. Gen X has seen more shit, but they don't talk. They just stare.
We all did. We did. We had a meeting. Not sure if you missed it. I don't even know if you have qualifications to be invited, but the millennials decided that we're not gonna open that can of worms. Let me tell you something.
That video is like 11 minutes long, so I'm not gonna show the whole thing. Long. But just remember, Gen X, you know, they say you don't want that smoke. We invented fuck around and find out. We invented I have time today. We invented you don't want this smoke. We are smoke, right? That's what happens when you have to raise yourself. But there's one other thing okay, so you know, we like to joke around here at Steel Sharp and Steel about me and Tom being the Wonder Twins, right? And so to this effect, actually, we got some stuff in the works that we've been working on, but in pursuit of looking up more Wonder Twin stuff to just like lean into this, we found this that I actually had never heard of this video, of this cartoon, but there was a cartoon out here called Space Sentinels. Check this out.
So does anyone else remember a cartoon called The Space Sentinels? Well, this show aired in 1977 and featured 3 superheroes that protected Earth, and they were kind of based on Greek mythology. You had the man to the right, Hercules. You had the man to the left, who was Mercury. And then you had in the middle, Austria. Now, Hercules and Mercury, their powers are very similar to what you would think from the Greek gods. Hercules was super strong, but they all could fly. And Mercury, while he could also fly, had the ability to run super, super fast. All right. Austria's power wasn't really based on any deity in particular. She had the ability to turn into any animal that was based on Earth. And was surprisingly the team's leader. She was one of the first Black superheroes to appear on television. I say one of the first because Black Vulcan also made his debut on the same exact day, September 10th, 1977. He appeared on the all-new Super Friends Hour. And while both characters are pretty original, his is barred in a little bit more controversy. So yeah, does anyone else remember the Space Sentinels?
I do not remember the Space Sentinels. But when he talked about what her powers were, like her ability to change into any animal on Earth, it reminded me of the Wonder Twins. That was the girl's power, right? Was to be able to change into any animal.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And Zan could turn into any form of water.
You remember? And thank you, Anthony.
Anthony. For real.
That's what's up.
It's got to be some episodes on YouTube. I know when there was Super Stretch and Micro Woman, which was the Black married scientist couple that was on the thing. Well,
you ain't never lied. They love to put us with some electricity, right?
Sure do. But Super Stretch and Micro Woman were a married couple. They kind of wore bell bottoms and stuff, and as their names imply, Super Stretch was like Mr. Fantastic or or the elongated man, he could, or plastic man, and then Micro Woman could shrink. And so they didn't have a super long run, but they were a black married superhero couple on like Saturday morning cartoons. And so the Space Sentinels, I'm gonna have to. There's got to be at least one episode on.
There's
YouTube.
got to be one. We're gonna look for it. But you know what I find interesting is all of the hubbub and the outrage and the resistance to wokeness and et cetera for having something like Black Panther or having something like the Marvels. And then here we are back in '78. There was not only a black superhero female, she was the leader of the group.
Yeah.
You know, so miss me with all of this fake outrage. Like why do they have to keep doing this? It wasn't woke until y'all decided to hate it. It was just something that people were doing.
And to pervert that word into something that just encapsulated everything that made you feel uncomfortable.
I love it.
She changed before going into an ocean. Okay, so obviously a fish.
She probably changed to a whale or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Super Sentinels. Wait a minute. Are the Super Sentinels Oh, no, that's a different thing. Got it. Okay.
But I got one more thing that I want to show today. And this one is a little bit more on the like a PSA as opposed to, you know, having fun with it. But I want to talk about it a little bit once we show it, because this is about what it means to be African American. So hang on one second.
That a lot of Black Americans don't have is a sense of knowing where you come from.
I want y'all to stop saying this expeditiously, please. Black Americans know where they're from. America, and that is okay. It is more than enough to be from America. We are our own ethnic group. We have our own language, AAVE, food, culture, music, all the things that make you an ethnic group. If a person claims to be from Jamaica, you don't question that. You accept that answer, which is ironic because guess what? Black people are not native to the island of Jamaica. In fact, their ancestors came to that island at the same time that my ancestors came to America. But because we are a minority in this country, you dismiss our contributions to the culture and the American fabric. We are part of this country and how we built it. We built it for free, first of all. And when we start saying these things, y'all, we are dismissing the Black American contribution. You are implying that our roots here are not very strong. If a white person tells you that I'm American, you don't question that either. You don't say, but where in Europe are you from? You accept that. Accept our answer as well. The part that I want people to hone in on is that there's a part of this country that is always trying to undercut the history and the contributions of Black Americans. And so that we as other cousins in the diaspora should not feed into that. It is the same, it's the other side of the coin of saying, go back to Africa where you're from, when my ancestors built this country. So I want us to be okay with answers like, I'm from America, by way of Tennessee, Mississippi, Missouri. Those answers are enough.
I love
it. I just put an episode, I think. Oh, I tried to. Hold on. I tried to put it.
Yeah, we are superstars, and let's never forget it. And she makes a really good point, because I do a lot of work. Y'all know I do work with diversity and inclusion. And when I show people the amount of Africans that were transported during the transatlantic slave trade, 5 million went to South America. 4 of those 5 million went to Brazil alone. Only 1 million came to the United States. There are more people who, quote unquote, don't know where they come from in all these countries. And they claim the country where they're born. They are Brazilian. They are Jamaican. But because they are the majority in those countries, like she said, people don't say, well, but where are the Brazilians from? Why do Brazilians speak Portuguese? You know, they don't think about that. But when we stay here in the United States, where we are continually oppressed, repressed, ignored, erased, etc., we have to be from somewhere else. And yes, we do have origins out of being part of the African diaspora, just like everybody else. But similar to everybody else, we also have a country where we're born. Black Brits also can't trace their heritage back beyond the Caribbean. But before the Caribbean, there was a African country, and you don't know what it was, neither. So why don't we just claim what we got? Remember that we built this bug right here, and my ancestors go back at least 200 years that I can trace back here in the States. And so I am a Black Texan, you know, and I'm an African American, and leave it at that.
That's all that needs to be said. Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, we're here.
We're going to be here.
Period.
Period.
So Happy Black History Month, everybody. This has been perhaps not as After Dark an episode as most of our After Dark episodes are. I did drop a link to a Space Sentinels episode, a full episode that I found on YouTube.
Oh my God.
And it definitely has that very 70s funky, spacey music. So it's called The Prime Sentinel. So maybe this is a really good episode. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to watch it. But thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it. We're looking forward to our first super street Sharpie submission. Go on ahead and send us a vertical or widescreen video posing a question, alerting us to something that you think the other Sharpies would be interested in. We'd love to have you on the show. And if you are interested in being a guest on the show, please send us an email or a DM on any one of our socials. We are kind of all over it. We're certainly on Instagram every single day. That's where we're getting all these damn videos anyway. So, but Instagram or on our show page on Facebook. We'd be happy.
It does look like waterbenders or firebenders in the background. Yeah.
You know? Oh boy, we didn't even talk about that trash Netflix translation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. The live
What do you mean
action.
trash, bro? That show is great.
I'm not feeling it. That
Okay,
first
we'll agree to
episode,
this. We're not about to start at an hour in, but
we're certainly
yeah.
not going to. Okay, we're gonna keep it pushing. Everybody enjoy your weekend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
You know what? Another example of Black excellence. That was the Pointer Sisters, a part of everybody's childhood, including all the white folks that try to act like we not here. They will steady be singing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, and can I tell you on Schoolhouse Rock, where I got 6. That's all there is. That was my jam. And Verb, That's What's Happening. All the Black songs on Schoolhouse Rock were the business. Even 3 is the magic number. That was my jam too.
Verb was a jam though. Like that Verb could play on the radio right now.
I mean, he was a Black superhero.
Yes.
Morning on the bend, man. Bend it. Oh, I mean, come on. Verb, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
For real. All right, everybody. Enjoy your Thursday night. Enjoy your Friday night and your weekend. Watch the Space Sentinels and see Astria. Yes, Franklin. Conjunction Junction. That was the jazziest
English lesson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, English. Hooking up words and phrases and clouds.
But she makes a good point. Franklin is getting a little show. So
yeah, on Apple. It's out already.
So be sure to watch it if you have access to it.
And they address the issue of him being the only one on the other side of the table.
Nice.
They fixed that continuity error. So enjoy. Be Black. We are unapologetically Black. And
be Black all year. Don't stop today.
It absolutely doesn't stop, but we are going to stop with this.
Black on black, black my thoughts so black, black on black, my skin is so black, I'm rocking that black on black is black. Rims on this black wheels, black wheel with this black bitch. Black on black on black on black on black on black my thoughts so black.
All right, I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And this is Steel Sharpens Steel. See you next time.